You are a native Taino living on the island of Hispaniola. As you fish in the tranquil waters, you notice gigantic ships coming toward your village. You're scared and excited at the same time. An oddly dressed man with very pale skin comes to the shore with the other men like him in a small boat. They have many clothes on and strange things on their feet. He comes ashore without invitation and speaks in a language you do not recognize. You have just met Christopher Columbus, and life as you know it will never be the same again. Before Columbus arrived in 1492, people in Eastern and Western Hemisphere did not regularly exchange goods. After he arrived, food, plants, animals, and diseases traveled between the two worlds. The horse changed the lives of Native Americans, while certain foods imported to Europe led to huge population growth. But was the interaction helpful or harmful to the people of these continents? What was the effect of the Columbian Exchange? The Columbian Exchange was the passing of goods from one culture to another. It is named after Christopher Columbus because it began when he met the Taino. As the Spanish traveled between Europe and the Americas, they took plants, animals, and other products from the Americas back to Europe. One result was that the Europeans began eating foods they had never before, and so did the Native Americans. Two foods that had a major impact on Europe were potatoes and corn. They were easy to grow and good for you. They were called the seeds of change. In Ireland, the potato became a staple of their diet. The population doubled from the mid 1700s to the 1800s. But when the potato famine of the late 1800s occurred, millions of Irish people starved to death. Many more left Ireland and immigrated to America. So was this exchange really beneficial to them? When the Spanish colonists realized how easy and cheap it would be to grow sugar cane in the Caribbean and export it to Europe, they started many plantations. They used African slaves and forced Native Americans to work on the plantations. This increased their profits and the demands for sugar in Europe. Therefore, it promoted the slave trade. This exchange was not fair to the African slaves or natives. The arrival of horses to the Americas changed how many native people lived and hunted. Now they could hunt large bison and move from place to place on the American plains. The Native Americans who greeted Columbus's future expeditions had no idea that on those boats were diseases such as smallpox, yellow fever, and malaria that would eventually maim and kill millions of them. So what are we to make of the Columbian Exchange? Was Christopher Columbus a visionary sailor and heroic explorer? He brought seeds of change to Europeans with the arrival of potatoes and corn. Many people thrived and populations grew because of the Columbian Exchange. He opened a whole new world to many Europeans through his discoveries. Bringing horses to the Americas changed the way people lived, farmed, and hunted. Or was he an exploiter of the native people in the Americas, and to the African people who were brought as slaves to the Caribbean islands, a carrier of diseases that caused pain and death of millions? What is your opinion of the Columbian Exchange? What would our lives be like today if Columbus had never set foot in Hispaniola? Do the positive things that came from the exchange outweigh the negative over the course of these hundreds of years?